Hi everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Wanted to kind of share with you yesterday's fishing. Went out. It was a nice sunny day, and that would have been January 23rd, and it was good enough fishing. We didn't catch anything big or anything, but we did catch quite a few smaller nice fish that would that's our future for the river. Kind of want to talk about my new little plan here to do. I spend most of my winter right here doing this, right in this little space, and I don't tie anything really super complicated, although the flies I do tie take some time to tie, just because of the dubbing and that kind of thing. But when I was a kid, one of my fly fishing mentors owned a little fly shop, and I would ride my bike up there and I'd watch him tie. And I had myself a little fly tying kit. It was one of those little, I think it might have been a herder's kit or maybe an old, I don't remember. I think it was an old herder's kit with a little vise, and they gave you all the materials that you needed to tie some simple flies and stuff. And anyway, this guy was a real pro, and he really changed my game on fly tying and fly fishing. But I was just a kid, I was about, I don't know, 11 years old or so. And I started fly fishing when I was 10. And I'd go up there and watch him tie, sit there, and he'd visit with me. He'd put up with me. Imagine older guy. He was probably, I don't know, at that time maybe 40s, maybe 30s or 40s. I'd ask him all kinds of questions and watch him tie. And he was so patient with me. And then eventually we got to fishing together, and I learned a lot from him. And I've been fortunate to been acquainted with and know some really good fly tiers. And I do this for money right now, and I do tie some on my own. But what I wanted to talk about was, just doing some book reviews and talking about things, right here in this space, because I have just about halfway's done with my fly order right now, so I'm kind of ahead of the game. But I do spend a lot of time here, and you have to. These flies don't just jump in the bins by themselves. If I just sat here and didn't do anything, nothing would happen. So I got to kind of keep up the pace and keep going day after day after day. And I sit here and I'll tie for an hour. Then I get up and walk around for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll sit back down and tie again. So that keeps my legs from getting that, the swelling in your legs and stuff from sitting down too long. And a lot of days will go for a little walk and stuff, and when I do, and it's sunny out and nice, and then I'll talk to you outside and we'll talk about some things. But I've been reading a lot this winter, and some winters I don't read. It's almost like I can't read, and I think that's been kind of some lame excuse of mine, because for me, I in the summertime don't do much reading, and that's kind of just my own choice. And the same with with saying that I couldn't read, in the wintertime. Some winters it's a choice. So this winter I just made up my mind to get in the habit, and that's what it takes. You got to be in a habit of doing it. When I go to bed, I just go to bed. I don't read in bed. I don't do anything in my bed other than sleep. And I will sit in the evening and read before I go to bed. And this winter I've I've read quite a bit. I've read a lot of books that have been real apropos to my situation, I guess. I don't know. It's almost like serendipitous that I've, been able to read them and that they came into my awareness. Now, one of the books, and I want to do a book review on it, and I might do some other book reviews, but one of the books is the book Papillon. And that has been on my radar and in my awareness since I was a little kid. One of my neighbors he had it, and he was reading it, and I just didn't read it. It's been in my library for forever and sat there, and I've always wanted to read it, so I sat down this winter and read it. And so you can't read everything, and that book was profound, and I do want to do a more in-depth discussion on that book. But for right now, just kind of wanted to get you introduced to what I think I'll just call this is Notes from the Bench. And I sit here and I have a little Fire tablet, and I can tune in and I can watch YouTube videos and lectures and listen to Audible, and I'm just, even though I'm out in the bubble out here in the middle of nowhere, I'm just connected with the rest of the entire world. So I feel very fortunate that I have a lot of books to read. I've got a great library, and I read a lot of the books in my library, and a lot of them I haven't read. And a lot of books I've read that, I reread some classics too, or I shouldn't say reread, but went back and read them word for word. And one of them was Moby Dick. I don't know if anybody's ever, everyone's seemingly read Moby Dick. I don't know if very many people have really sat down and read it word for word. That's quite a, to me it was daunting. I started into it numerous times, and the wordiness of Melville was just a little bit beyond me. A good friend who used to be a high school teacher said, just keep going, just keep reading and keep going. And so finally I just did, and that's how I had to read the Odyssey too. You can't keep track of all the characters. I couldn't in the Odyssey, and I was given a hint about that from a professor. He said, just keep reading it. Don't worry about keeping track of everything. It'll all come together. And sure enough, it did. And the Odyssey's another great one. And I'd read that several years ago, quite a while ago. But it's funny how you get assigned books when you're a kid in grade school and high school, and that's American literature or great literature, great world literature. And I don't know, I was never much of a reader. I read to get through assignments, and but I've taken to in my adult years and later years after school and everything to where I really enjoy reading. And a lot of books slip through the cracks. There's just a lot of really good literature out there. And I'm fortunate to spend time on the river with people. And a lot of people are very, very caught up in what's going on with literature and writing, and the bestsellers that are going on at the time. And some of which I get caught up in that, and others I just go back to the classics. And so that was my feeling of reading Papillon. This winter I read some Jim Harrison, read one of his novels called Sundog, and that was really profound. And Carlos Castaneda, I reread Journey to Ixtalan. I want to talk about that a little bit too. That was interesting to reread that. I had read that book about 30 years ago or so, and I don't know. I don't remember it having the same story. There was a couple parts in there that I don't remember. I thought that it contained, but it didn't contain it when I read it this time. And it was every bit as profound to read it the second time. And that's the thing. We've talked about that, my buddy and I, about reading. It's kind of like listening to a song, you know. When you hear that song for the first time, it's so much of it matters of the time and place where you are, not only physically in your life, but mentally and emotionally with your relationships and your life. You might hear a song and you'll hear it again, and it's kind of like a scent. It'll bring you right back to that space in your life where you first heard it. And that's kind of the way books are too. Come to realize that I might read a book and think it's completely profound and it's something that just is the most magnificent thing in the world, and I might pass it on to a friend and they may not quite feel the same way, and the converse is true too. So yeah, I think so much of reading kind of depends on where you're at in your life. So anyway, I've rambled on enough here for right now, but this is an introductory video. Sorry about that, to kind of get you used to being here at the bench. And so I'll be here. I'm going to be here for, I've got probably, I don't know, another at least 40 days or more of tying ahead of me. And you know, that can be broken up into the remaining couple of months that's left in the wintertime. But I'll try to tie every single day, and when I'm on a real serious tying adventure, I'll include you, and we'll talk about some things. But for right now, welcome to the bench. And yeah, yesterday was kind of one of those things where I was trying to film birds, and I didn't do much fish filming, and I've done a couple videos of us out there fishing, and you know, I mean, we caught some nice fish in the previous videos I've done, and it was cool to see the scenery and the clear water and everything, but you know, that only goes so far. And I don't know, hopefully I can add a little bit more meaning, and as we spend more time out there, maybe I can talk about some more meaningful things. Not that fishing isn't meaningful, but yeah, so thank you for listening if you've gone this far with my ramblings. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.